and they pretty much just hold her down and just start cutting her stomach open
Well, oh
to
yeah,
get
you
this
could.
baby
That
out.
was a crazy scene. Like once she realized what was happening, she was just like, "No, no,
Yeah.
no, please, please." She started pleading
Yeah,
for her
cause
life too.
yeah,
She's
cause
just
she
like,
she
"No."
knows. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
What's up, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Los Wise Guys podcast. I am one of your hosts, Eslam, aka God Ra, God of the Sun, accompanied by Dan, Emperor Disco. Yeah,
He said Gara of the Sun.
I was gonna say God instead of Ra, God of the Sun. I said God first, and then I was like God, then I was like Ra, God. Yeah, it's we've been having these weeks recently, tough schedules. Everybody's working, and then it is what it is. As you can see, Papa Sunkiller is not with us right now. He's still out there on his mission fighting the sun, and he had to take another week. It's been kicking his ass, so it's
Mhm.
it's the fucking sun. He's trying to kill it, but it is what
Every
it is.
day, every day, it just keeps popping back up.
Yeah,
What the fuck?
yeah. So, I mean,
Mission continues.
this is the Sun Killer Chronicles too. He's still out there. He's still fighting. He right now he's charging himself behind the moon, and he's gonna be back at it tomorrow. The sun set. It went to the other side of the world, so he's just gonna chill for a bit, take a breather, drink some Gatorade, do some Goku stretches, and get back into it. But that is not our main subject for today. We are going to be reviewing Game of Thrones House of the Dragon. So this is a prequel series based on obviously Game of Thrones, which is also a book series by the great George R. R. Martin, one of the best writers we've had in our generation, and well, fantasy writers. His book Song of Ice and Fire, which we're gonna mention later on, is what started it all. So amazing book series. And let's jump into. I want to watch the trailer real quick.
Did he? Just a quick question. Did he have any say on this, or did they just base it off his book?
This is based off his book, Fire and Blood.
So he didn't have any input or anything
I'm
other than
sure.
like
I'm
his.
sure he has. I'm sure he has input. Like I don't think they've. I mean, after how they ended Game of Thrones, I think they're kind of like we're gonna listen to you more because it came out where he was like he said Game of Thrones should have been at least 10 seasons. So I guess he wanted the end to stretch out a little more, and he's finishing up that last book. So hopefully we'll get it soon. But he's been writing it. And I look forward to. I think I'm gonna have to read it to see the whole series. Actually, I'll just start reading them to see how it ended
Mhm.
properly. All right, let's jump into this trailer. Let's get this show started. All right.
Let's do this.
The dream. It was clearer than a memory. And I heard the sound of thundering hooves, splintering shields and ringing swords. And I placed my heir upon the Iron Throne. And all the dragons roared as one.
I consider the matter urgent. That of your succession,
Who else would have a claim?
the firstborn child.
Rhaenyra. No queen has ever sat the Iron Throne.
The king has an heir, Daemon Targaryen.
I will not be made to choose between my brother and my daughter.
Oh yes, you will.
Rhaenyra's succession will be challenged. Knives will come out.
You are the king. Your duty is to take a new wife.
I have decided to name a new heir. I'm your heir. War is afoot.
Do you think the realm will ever accept me as their queen?
A woman would not inherit the Iron Throne, because that is the order of things.
When I'm queen, I will create a new order.
Your family has dragons.
There are power men should never have trifled with.
If Rhaenyra comes
comes into power, she could cut off any challenge to her succession.
I am to inherit the Iron Throne. She will block my way.
Our hearts remain as one.
Oh, our hearts were never one. Have you never imagined yourself on the Iron Throne? Where is duty? Where is sacrifice? Now they see you as you are.
That actually, I haven't seen that actually, and that I like that because it showed a little more past the first episode.
Yeah, definitely. And I wanted to show that as a starting point for our conversation. Now, like I said, this is a prequel show. So far, man, the first episode has a lot of first season Game of Thrones vibes to me. You know, you
Do you
come.
wanna give like a overall rating of
Oh,
the first
sure,
episode
yeah.
first?
So actually, I'll continue with that sentence, right? The first episode gave me a lot of first season Game of Thrones, where it was a lot of politics, a lot of dialogue, not so much fighting yet, but it was about the story that's happening around the throne, and this was a very similar type of that episode, and I loved it. This is why I fell in love with Game of Thrones. I love the world building, I love the fantasy, but at the same time, all that is a backdrop to the story of every conniving character and their plans and their betrayals just to get to the Iron Throne. And it's like, at the end of the day, everybody gets fucking killed because you're on the Iron Throne, right? You're either gonna die, someone wants to fucking kill you. Like, it's the worst seat in all of Westeros. So
Eventually, someone's gonna come after you. It's like
it's a given.
to piggyback off you. I saw a lot of like exactly like you said, Game of Thrones comparisons. It really had the Game of Thrones vibes. I forgot the guy's name, the guy from Doctor Who. He played a really cool character, especially with the white Targaryen hair.
Oh,
Um,
Daemon Targaryen.
yeah, Damon. Yeah, I actually liked his role. And
Yeah,
actually, I haven't really seen him in a lot of other places except Doctor Who, where he's just being a goofball. And so you see him here and
yeah. In a
actually
more
playing
serious
a
role.
serious character, and I thought it was pretty good, pretty entertaining. And overall, after the first episode, I'm just curious to see the rest. I want to see an airborne dragon fight since like Damon and Rhaenyra are kind of
Yeah.
like the heirs right now. So
Hmm.
and they both have dragons, so I kind of
Yes,
like
they do.
I'm hoping there's kind of a little scuffle somewhere,
Yeah.
like a dog fight.
Oh,
Uh,
that would be fantastic.
you got to be sick. So I'm really hoping that happens later on in the season. Um, but yeah, overall, I'm pretty kicked about this. I don't know. I thought I heard bad stuff on the internet, but overall, after watching it, I I
I
thought it was pretty
think
good.
I think right before it came out, people kept like thinking it was gonna be bad, or you know, you know how people talk shit. I mean, we do it too. It's what everybody does on the internet to get their
Let's
to
see.
get to get their stuff looked at, to get attention. You might get a little controversial with your thoughts, so you can you can have people curious. You know what I mean?
Just projecting what you think, just to get some
Yeah.
some
So
content.
everybody, obviously, and I'm sure they've talked about the Game of Thrones ending, and they're like, oh, they flopped that. Now they're doing this, but so far they are starting out strong, and I really enjoyed the first episode, man. It was a lot of fun. It was a nice reintroduction to the world of Westeros. Yeah, let's jump into our review of the episode. Like I said, I loved it. The main character Rhaenyra is the mirror of Daenerys
Daenerys.
Targaryen and her predecessor, right? So I like that they're right off the start. It's her. She has like this cool relationship with her. Like, she's not a servant, but she's the daughter of the hand of the king. So I'm guessing that's why she's in her life.
Just like a companion. Yeah, I kind of like
Yeah,
their banter and their connection. It's a cool friendship.
yeah. So the series starts off with like a dialogue of this is the king that it has been serving the realm for like 100 years, and all his sons died either in battle or of sickness, and now he has to choose an heir because he's coming to his end pretty much. As you see in this picture right here, here's the king. This is one of the heir, I guess you would say, like candidates, and this is Viserys, the other candidate. I forget her name. So they're Targaryen. My man over here with the cool dreads is Valerian, right? So he is from Valeria. We heard a lore about it in Game of Thrones, the first seasons, but we don't really know much. Here they started giving you a little bit more hints because it's still fresh in their minds, right? The Targaryens and the Valerians were part of Valeria, which in the show they say the Calamity, and I did some research. The Calamity was a giant volcano eruption that kind of destroyed that island. So it's funny, right? Like Mount Vesuvius.
Yeah.
So, yes, he calls all the lords. They all vote to kind of pick who should be the next heir, and it was between these two, and the lords ended up picking because they're the oldest children of the oldest sons of this king, right? So all his sons that died, pretty much their fathers all died, and these are the oldest children for these fathers, and they end up going with Viserys because he is the male, and this is a monarchy. There hasn't been a queen yet, as you guys saw in the trailer. They have that dynamic going on, right? It's been a complete monarchy. There is no female queens, so
Yeah.
this is going to be our main story for the rest of the season.
They chose him even though technically the other one was the
Was
oldest,
better
the
fit.
eldest.
Yeah, she was the older.
Just because she was a woman, they were just like,
Yeah.
nope, this guy. That's sexist as fuck.
So what I like about Game of Thrones, it's the simplest concept. Everybody wants this chair, and now we're gonna build a whole world around it, right? And like the fact that George R. R. Martin created this whole fantasy, right? R.L. Tolkien, uh, right? I think that's it. I think I said it right. But Tolkien created the same thing about rings. You know what I mean? And he created this whole fantasy around. So it's like these writers took something as simple as a throne and turned it into, every king story is like about either an evil brother who wanted the throne, killed him, son returns. You know what I'm saying? It's that thing. It's the Lion King story, and he took this shit to the next
I
level.
Speaking of the throne, I really liked the throne in the show. I felt like there were more swords, kind of like
So
cascading down like the
yeah,
stairs.
so this is a more accurate depiction of the throne as described in the books.
Mm.
Um, the Game of Thrones decided to kind of bring it down a little bit, but here they went all out with it, and I think he said it was even a hybrid of the throne in the books and what was shown in Game of Thrones to kind of, since it's a continuity. So it's going to be interesting to see. But it is now when after like the prologue of the first episode, it is now the ninth year of King Viserys the first Targaryen's reign. So King Viserys, the guy that I showed before, he is now the king, and this is all happening 172 years before the death of the Mad King Aerys and the birth of his daughter, Princess Daenerys Targaryen, right? And that's crazy that it's 172 years. Like, there's so much they can do. Like, they can do a whole other era, like between this one and
I,
if they wanted to, right?
I feel like they could do a few eras. That's a lot of time. Like,
Well, I mean,
how long is their lifespan at this time?
well,
Maybe
the
like
other king died
at
a
the time.
100 years, so I mean,
Oh wow.
it's like the same thing with us now, but I guess a little more for them, maybe like the 100 years is like where most Targaryens get because they're special. They have that connection with the dragons and stuff. Maybe that gives them a little bit more magic and a
Yeah,
bigger lifespan.
better
But
genetics.
here's our cast, right? We have Daemon Targaryen, Rhaenyra Targaryen, Alicent Hightower, which she's going to become important later on in the show. Right? She's the daughter of the Hand of the King, who is Rhaenyra's friend. We have the King Viserys. We have Stephen Toussaint, um, Lord Coriolis Valerian, which, okay, so we got another Valerian. I think this is the dude with the dreads.
Yeah.
Um, you have Otto Hightower, which is the Hand of the King. You have Rhaenys Valerian. So I guess she took her husband's name, last name. It's interesting that they do that. And she's the queen who never was, right? So she was the one that was up against King Varys for the throne, and he won. And then you have Mysaria, which she is a woman of the night who our friend Daemon Targaryen frequents. Um, so Daemon Targaryen is a badass. We see him just sitting on the throne, which is literally an act of treason in Game of Thrones in this period. So it was interesting. He goes in, his niece meets him. They start speaking the old language in Valerian, and he gives her, um, what is it called? Valerian steel necklace. Right, and then um, they have this little conversation, and I like his character, man. He's very interesting. He's doing a very nice sly bad guy that you can almost like.
You could see that like in the first act there in the King's Landing where he took the watch and he just like rounded up all the criminals. He like started chopping off hands
Yeah.
and eyes, and he like cut some dude's dick off, and
Yep.
like
The
it
rapist.
was wild. It was wild. So it's like he gets to do all this bad stuff, but like when he got to the council, he was just like, I was just cleaning up the city. That nobody feels safe here, and it's just like he's playing the
Oh,
system.
he's playing them real well.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So I was just like, oh damn, he's getting away with that
He
shit.
said, "I am enacting the king's laws."
Yeah,
And he
so
was like, "You guys you made these laws. I'm just following them to the
so
letter."
yeah, I love his like kind of wild card attitude. Like even the council's like respects him, but at the same time, it's like we
They're
just don't
weary of
know
him.
where he would take us if he's in charge. Like
Oh
So
yeah, definitely. He would be a very harsh king.
yeah,
And he wants the power, man. He's hungry for it.
he's ambitious, definitely.
100%. Which what makes his character so interesting. And but the dragons, right? This is called the House of the Dragon. Obviously, we're going to see some dragons. We've seen 2 of the 10 they mentioned, right? King Viserys mentions 10 dragons. And there's just a whole lot of fun. Also, the fact that they had dragon keepers, like people, like if they're like handling their stalls or whatever, getting them food, like
Yeah,
that shit was so crazy when she was flying on her dragon in the opening sequence and she lands. And then this young guy like kind of like goes up to the dragon pretty aggressively, and the older guy was like, "Hey, calm the fuck down. This is a dragon. What are you gonna do?"
yeah,
And then he speaks to the dragon in Valerian and says his name. He's like, "Calm down, Cyrax," right? So that's Rhaenyra's dragon's name, which is a very cool fucking name.
I love it.
Cyrax. I love Cyrax. I actually have another little video with Cyrax, so I'm gonna show you guys real quick because
It's that
it was
Mortal Kombat name.
yeah, it is. Um, which one is it? It's this one. Okay. So this is Rhaenyra riding her dragon and coming in, and this is the scene. This is the exact scene I was talking about. Like you see, I was just walking up to him, like you gotta respect.
Bold as fuck, disrespectful.
Yeah, it's like he invaded his space too quickly, and he didn't even like say shit. Like, this is a dragon, my man. They're not stupid. So if you saw right there, like, he stopped, he greeted the dragon, right? He greeted the dragon with his name, and then he told him to say what he needs to say. And it's like, I feel like the kid was asking permission. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah,
may
yeah.
I? And the dragon kind of respected it, which is very cool. It shows you how smart these things are, and not just, just beasts being controlled. And what's very interesting that we learn later on in the episode is that King Viserys' dragon has died of old age. Well, he's died. I don't think they mentioned whether it was old age or not,
Yeah.
but um, this is his dead dragon's head. That shit's
Damn.
fucking huge, bro. And I guess he loved his dragon so much that he didn't bond with another dragon. So this is how they're able to ride these dragons. Like, they have to bond with them. It's not like any of the other Targaryens can just come up and get one from the stall like a horse and just start riding this shit. You know what I mean? So again, this gives you another layer of the dragons of how smart and like special they are, and you have to like bond with them. You have to be good to them. And we saw this a little bit where she didn't know what to do with the dragons, Daenerys Targaryen, when she locked them up because they burned like a village or something, or and because they wanted to eat.
Yeah, yeah.
And it was interesting. She didn't know how to handle them. She didn't know how to do this. We get to see here what it's like when there are dragons, where they're people that know how to take care of them.
Properly kept. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because
So,
look at this dragon. This shit's huge. Apparently, they know what they're doing over here. He must have been with that dragon so long. That head
and she
is
said,
ginormous.
"Oh
Like,
yeah, his head, yeah." And Rhaenyra's dragon is still young. She's like, because she said in the first episode when her friend was there to pick her up, Rhaenyra was like, "He's getting big, and soon he'll be big enough to have two saddles."
oh,
So, and
nice.
she was like, "Nah, I'm good here on the ground." But it was interesting. This is the picture. This is a still from the film when she was flying on her dragon. This is Cyrax, and this is Dragonhold. I guess this is where the dragons were kept, which is interesting. We see it in Game of Thrones, but towards the end, where it's like all fallen apart because
Yeah.
nobody's been upkeeping it. But the king calls for. He was like,
A jousting match.
yeah, and it's because it's this tradition when they have an heir that's being born or being announced. And yeah, so he's been wanting a son. We find out that his wife has had like 5 miscarriages after Rhaenyra, so her body's not doing good. And this is a son. She's been sick. She looked like with the baby, and this was one of the craziest scenes I've seen on TV, man. Like, this was interesting that they showed
She,
all that, but
she was literally like, "This is my fifth time. No
yeah,
more after this. I'm sorry if I
yeah,
failed you." She was like pleading, like, and
yeah.
back then where there's no like no real
Well, he didn't.
science medical care, like
Yeah,
5 pregnancies, I feel like is pushing.
yeah, and he wasn't like he wasn't being mean about it, right? He seemed like he really loved this woman, but he really wanted a male heir, right? He wanted
Yeah.
a son, and she was about to give birth. I was about to say she's about to give pregnancy. Uh, she was about to give birth.
Oh
The
my god!
baby's in
Imagine that's how
breach.
it worked. When a pregnant woman walks in, all the other women get pregnant.
Oh God, it's like
Get
their
that woman
period.
away!
Yeah, it's like when their periods sync. Like
Oh god!
they all get pregnant at the same time. That's wild.
Oh, man. That'd be crazy.
And so so yeah, shit, I forgot what I was saying.
I fucked
Oh,
you
her
up, my bad.
pregnancy. Her pregnancy. So the baby's in breach, and what that means is it's not in the correct position to come out. So for a baby to be born, his head needs to be where that comes out first, because then the shoulder squeeze, and it's just easier for the body that way. but it was in breach, so that means it was flipped, right? So the legs were on the bottom, and you can't really, yank a baby out. It's That's not how it works. So
Yeah.
they were trying to turn the baby around, um, but it wasn't working. And the maester offered him a suggestion. He was like, "We can save one, but not both." So it's either the baby's gonna die or she's gonna die, and he was like, we've been practicing this new procedure, and
Oh God.
I was like, oh shit, she's, they're gonna just cut the baby out of her, and I was like, this is gonna be bad.
It's like the first C-section ever. It was
Yeah,
it was wild that they showed like a lot of it too. It was
yeah, man, it was a crazy scene. So they do the he decides for the C-section. He doesn't even consult her, and they pretty much just hold her down and just start cutting her stomach open
well, oh
to
yeah,
get
you
this
could.
baby
That
out.
was a crazy scene. Like once she realized what was happening, she was just like, "No, no,
Yeah.
no, please, please." She started pleading
Yeah,
for her life too.
yeah,
She's
cause
just like,
she
"No."
knows, yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
And so he pulls the baby out. Once that baby coughed, I was like, that baby's dead. Right? He was holding it. He was grieving. He had his son. The baby started crying a little bit and started coughing. I'm pretty sure because he was in breach, fluid got in its lungs. And if it was modern times, they would have been able to take care of that. But they can't.
They
In
were
Game
they
of
were
Thrones.
ex- they were excited though that it was a boy though.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
man,
So
that it was heartbreaking though, because he made that hard ass decision, and in the end, they both
they
ended up
both
dying
died.
anyway.
Yeah.
I was like,
Yeah.
oh my God.
That's rough. That's
Yep.
real rough. But yeah, so this episode is about heirs, right? It's just all about you had the heirs of Viserys, or the queen that never was. Now Viserys needs an heir, so he has his younger brother Daemon, which is technically his heir since he doesn't have a male son, but the king can still announce an heir, and the council was having an argument about making Daemon the heir. And uh, he was like has his back, and he was like protecting his brother, right? He was saying, no, he's my heir. And they were saying, and then Otto Hightower, the hand, he was like, I think you should do Rhaenyra, because he said, in because he was celebrating your son's death, and he said he was the heir for a day. And he's like, you've seen what he's done in the watch, the city watch. And he's like, this is not good for you. And when he heard that, he called Damon into the into like the chamber, and he confronted him about it. And Damon pretty much just said, "You're fucking weakling. I deserve this throne. Also, you should have just kept me by your side as the hand of the king. Like, why would I be all this other nonsense, right? I'm your brother. I'm the one who should have been there."
Yeah,
Um,
because Viserys, or however you say it, he was saying like,
Viserys.
I'm the only one here like that's got your back, and then Damon's just like, you never had my back, pretty much like.
No, exactly.
He's just like, you've always pushed me away at hand's length, had kept me out of the council, blah blah blah, and that was a cool scene though, because you could see his brother trying to like be strong with him and firm with him, because it's like he enters and he's just like, you have to call me your grace, and like if not, I'll
Yeah.
have your tongue like pulled out. And you could see that
Yeah, he turned on him.
he's getting tired of his fucking brother's shit, and just like, I think it really hurt him that he just lost his wife and his newborn
Yeah.
baby, and he was out there celebrating and not helping him grieve, or Rhaenyra grieve. He was just being selfish.
Oh, 100%. But before we continue, we have a special guest.
Hello.
What's up? The number
Hello.
one fan,
How are
Henry.
you?
Here's your
Good,
birthday
good.
shout out. Happy birthday, bro.
Thank you. You're the best.
So this is Henry. Obviously, if you guys might know him as the number one fan, but he is joining us today. He's going to help us out while Dan's away fighting the sun. And yeah, we're going to continue. But before that, don't forget to like, subscribe, rate, share, and review, and sometimes pray. But go comment below. Let us know what you thought of the first episode of Game of Thrones and what you think is going to happen next. And after you're done with that, go check out the Los Wise Guys website. All of our amazing content is up there for your pleasure, and new content coming soon. As well as Go check it out on our social medias. Give us a follow, hit us up, DM us, slide in the DMs. You know what I'm saying? We like to talk to people. And let's get back to the show. Henry, what did you think of the first episode of Game of Thrones? Have you seen it?
I have not seen it at all. I've been super busy.
Oh damn! Well, you're about to get some
Nice.
spoilers,
So
bro.
please convince me. Convince me why I should watch it.
Dude, it's been amazing so far. I don't know if you how much you like the first series, but this is starting out like the first season. A lot of politics, a lot of deciding who's gonna be the next heir. You're already seeing signs of King Viserys' death coming. He keeps cutting himself on the Iron Throne, and he got an infection that they said they were going to burn it, and he cut his finger again at the end, and I think that was a foreshadowing sign of him going bye bye. So I don't think he's gonna die anytime soon. Maybe halfway or through the season or towards the end, because then it's Rhaenyra and her uncle fighting for the throne, right?
Okay.
So it's very good so far, man. They're really going out there hard. But this scene was a lot of fun. They had the joust because they were trying to celebrate the new heir. The knights are fighting. You got to see the houses. They mentioned them. House Baratheon, House Stark, House Tyrell, House Lannister. So there, all the stuff that we know of from Game of Thrones are here, kind of like still in the background, and we got to see some of the ancestors, and it was pretty cool because then it's kind of like they just all went away because it's all about the House Targaryen. So it's been pretty interesting so far. Disco, what did you think of the scene?
I thought this was a main highlight for some people that like action more than drama. So I feel like this was that little just to give them a taste of something, so they don't just say it's too slow or this or that. I thought it was pretty cool. They had like the mystery night that took out the two
Yeah,
Baratheons, and then you saw Rhaenyra kind of asking like, "Who's that?" It's kind
yeah.
of like, "Oh my god, who's
Yeah,
that?"
they were gossiping.
Yeah. I kind of like that little like back and
Yeah.
forth dialogue. If you don't like talking like dialogue, then you're probably not gonna like this show because it's a lot of little just like, oh, I like how they just
You
said that to
gotta
each other.
you gotta pay
You know?
attention to the dialogue because they be
Yeah.
saying shit that is like coded and not coded, but like foreshadowing and all this stuff.
Yeah.
So if you love Quentin Tarantino, you're gonna love this, right? It's a lot of heavy
Yep.
dialogue. I mean, don't get me wrong, the action is coming. Like you saw in that trailer, shit was going crazy. The
Yeah.
dragon was
Yeah.
breathing fire, killing people. They were fighting. Um, so the action is coming, but I love the setup, and
Yeah.
and it's not just action for action, um, you know, just for action's sake, but it's the action makes the dialogue even better because it's the build up to from the dialogue, and then it's a build up out of it, right?
Yeah.
It's a lot of fun. But this is Rhaenyra. This is Alicent. Her pretty much her hand. But with Alicent, like the king, her father was pimping her out at the end of the episode. You know what I mean? He was like, the king's wife just died. You should go read him a story, and go check on him. Go read him a story, or entertain him. And while she was like, yes, father. And while she was leaving, he was like, wear one of your mom's nice dresses. You know what I
Yo,
mean?
I was like, oh my god.
So he's pimping her out, and it's I feel like it's Otto's move to the throne, right? Because if she has a child with the king, that could be his new heir if it's a boy. And now, you know, there's gonna be issues, right? Because Otto, her are gonna want their progeny in there, so it's gonna be you're gonna have that from that side, and I feel like you're gonna have Damien from the other side, and there's three parties going at there's gonna be three parties going at the throne.
everybody's just plotting against the throne. It's like, do you really want that seat? It's like
I don't get it, man. I would
as
be
soon
like,
as you get it, there there's somebody out there that's just gonna be like, I
see,
should have it. Like, you
I would
know.
be I would be the hand of the king. If I had to pick one, I would be the hand of the king cuz you're like you have his ear and you can kind of sway him a little bit, not take control, but and then you're kind of good as long as you're cool with the other people and like you have everybody in line, then that's like the best. Like, that's the best seat. But it's gonna be interesting. I can't wait to see how those three groups start, making their moves, playing their chess pieces to get
Yeah.
to the next to become the next king.
It's just a bunch of scheming.
Yeah.
And then I hope they throw in some dragon battles. Like I said in the beginning, I really hope they have like a dragon like
Dogfight.
dogfight. Like that'd
Yeah.
be insane.
Also, this is the Valerian family, and
Mm.
this is his son and his daughter. We got to so this pictures this still is from the trailer where they were kind of pre-shadowing what's gonna happen next, like what everybody's gonna look like, and we got to see these two in the joust, those little kids. If you guys remember the little kids with the white hair that were sitting under these two. We got to see them kind of play together. They might be twins, but uh, yeah. So that's these kids, and yeah. So here's our picture, right? So we got Damon,
Speaking of the joust, Damon actually lost the joust to the
yeah,
to the to the mystery
to
knight.
this knight right here, yeah,
Yeah. So I thought that was pivotal because I thought he would have cheated to get his way to get a win, but he actually submitted, and I was like, oh shit.
yeah. He
Yeah.
had
So
to, and so this is older Rhaenyra right here, this one. And this is Viserys, and this is older Alicent, right? So everybody in this picture kind of shows you what it's gonna look like, because I'm sure there's gonna be a little time skip, um, in this season, because that's what they showed in the trailer. You know what I mean? Um, but this is Craxus, which is Damien's dragon. Daemon. I keep saying Damien. It's Daemon's dragon, which is he has this red dragon, looks badass. Can't wait to see him ride that shit. It's gonna be
oh
so
yeah,
fucking cool,
that's
man.
gonna be kick ass. He looks like a dark elf. Yeah, I just can't wait to see him
He really does.
on a
I kept,
dragon. It's just like a dark elf
yo,
dragon.
with his long hair, he reminded me so much of the wood elves in,
Oh, the Lord of the Rings.
yeah, like
I
because
can
they
see
had
that. Yeah,
they
the
had
white hair too.
they had the white hair, yeah, so they have like the silver hair, so they look very similar. I kept thinking like his ears kind of look pointy too. They weren't, but I don't know. I just kept seeing the elf ears. But so far, this episode showed a lot of what's coming. They foreshadowed a lot, and I can't wait to see the rest of the season. Now, I think the next time we're gonna be talking about Game of Thrones is at the end of Game of Thrones after the season finale. So it's gonna be in a couple of weeks. We're not gonna be reviewing every episode, but we're pretty much gonna review this. We're gonna watch the promo for episode 2 now, and then we're kind of gonna give our predictions for the rest of the season. I gave some of them already, but let me share the trailer for this second episode.
Do you think at the end of the season there's gonna be like a finality, like somebody's gonna have it?
The throne.
Yeah.
It depends on how far of a time skip, because eventually King Viserys is gonna die, right? So it's either he's gonna die and one of them's at the end of the season, and that's where we're gonna get now the battle for the throne in the second season, right? I don't think anybody's gonna take it this season, but I think this season's gonna set up the big battle for the throne in the next season, or they can either give it to one of them and do a time skip where they defend it, another war. You know what I mean? But I don't know how many time skips they're gonna do.
Yeah.
Also, this season is or I don't know if it's the whole season is based on the whole book, or maybe they're breaking it up into 2 seasons, the first book, but the first book is called Fire and Blood, and I think there's a second book about this. So we might have at least, I would say, 4 to 5 seasons of this show. I don't know if they're gonna go all 8, but if also this first episode crashed HBO Max.
That's
So
true. That is true.
so this first episode had like more than 10 million viewers like that night, that tuned in at the same time. So this is going to be one of those shows where it's going to be a weekly destination show. Like everybody's going to get on to watch this. So they got to kick up their server game.
Yep. It's like a good thing and a bad thing. It's like, wow, we're getting that traffic, but at the same time, we can't sustain that traffic.
Yeah. So I think this is going to be a successful show. So far, it's starting out that way. So,
Yeah.
but let's
I
watch
think
this.
so. There's still time for them to fuck it up, though. But I agree.
I mean, true. There's always time to fuck it up, but let's see if they will fuck it up from this promo.
long as they
The
follow the
prince
book.
that was promised, and his will
That's
be
true.
the song of ice and fire.
The king chose Rhaenyra. The realm will not accept her.
Men would sooner put the realm to the torch than see a woman ascend the Iron Throne.
Perhaps. But there will be blood.
I really want to see where they're gonna go with Rhaenyra, because you already know everybody's gonna underestimate her, and she's gonna pull something off.
Yeah.
She's gonna pull some scheme or battle of wit and just like
Ice and fire.
come out on top. I feel like.
And I also like that they did a callback to the first book, which is A Song of Fire and Ice. And King Viserys, when he told her he's going to announce her as his heir, was like, listen, this has been passed down from king to king. And it is the first king, Aegon Targaryen.
Can you
He
mute the
had a-
video?
Yeah. The first king, Aegon Targaryen, had this dream. And he told her the dream about winter, the winter is coming, and the death that's going to come along with that long winter. And he called it, it's been passed down, and it's been called The Song of Fire and Ice. And that's the name of the first book. So I love that callback. It was very interesting that they built that into the lore. I'm sure this is obviously was probably in the book. I'm sure George R. Martin probably thought of to do that already. This is not like an HBO, thing, but I like the callback. It was very interesting. But from what we see here, everybody's gonna get their action. That looks like Cyrax. I love how he's different. How he has that double wing, like he has that tail wing, as like a stabilizer. He was huge.
Yeah.
It kind of looked like he was given a warning attack to Rhaenyra. We're gonna see a lot of like I'm interested in that island chain where that I forgot what they called him. But they said he was like had creative ways of dealing with the people because they were talking about it in like that island, the guy that was taking out the pirates. If you remember Disco in the beginning, and they were like, "What should we do about it?" And the king was like, "Well, he's taking care of it for us, so I mean, I don't see why it's an issue right now."
Was it Bolton or something? I don't remember.
It might have been. I don't remember either.
I don't know. You're asking. Dan
Yeah,
left us the Alzheimer's and dementia guy, like to
Yeah,
remember all
right.
stuff.
But yeah, they definitely set up a lot for this, and it's gonna be, in my prediction, is gonna be an awesome season. I think it's gonna be 3 groups fighting, right? I think Alicent is gonna get pregnant by the king, and he's gonna have a son that she's gonna. I don't think he's gonna like go back on his word to give his new son the throne. I think he's gonna stick with Rhaenyra, but then Alicent is gonna want to have her son on the throne, along with her father, right, as the hand of the king, Otto Hightower, and then you're gonna have on the other side, you're gonna have Daemon coming for the throne as well. So it's gonna be very interesting. That's my prediction for the season. Is gonna be those three going at it.
And there's all three really have the power and potential to really get their way to the top too. It's just it really just like you said earlier, it comes like a game of chess where they're just playing
Yeah.
their pieces, and we'll see how it unfolds. And I'm honestly excited. I kind of went in, I was on the internet hype like, oh, it's gonna suck, but
Yeah.
at the end of the first episode, I was like, oh no, it's pretty good. The acting chops are there.
Oh yeah.
The little dialogue nuances are all there. The action was there on the jousting fight, and for our first episode, I think they're really building up to something special. So I'm all in. I'm ready for it.
So Henry, I hope we convinced you to go watch this show. Honestly, dude, it's gonna be amazing. And did you like Game of Thrones, or did you not even watch that?
No, I watched it when it was the last season. That's when I started watching
Oh,
it. I actually
like
caught.
just the last season, or you caught up to everything
No,
and then
I
you
cut to the last season when it was like starting
okay.
to air in
Uh-huh.
time, and I'm like, I don't know. Like the first few seasons, I was like, oh, this is great, but following the book, I'm like,
Yeah. You
and they
read the
start
books?
doing their own writing. No, I never read the book.
Yeah, yeah, okay. Yeah, they
But
did they
I
did
know
get
that
away
people
from the books.
are like, as it went off the book, it was just going downhill. I was like, oh, I'm
They
not
did, yeah. Well, it's not that they
my
stopped going off the books. There were no books to go off
the
of.
book
They
never
caught up
finished. Yeah,
yeah, they caught up to the story and then they had to kind of come up with their own ending. So
right. Like
It
we
felt it
together,
felt
and then it was like,
it felt rushed to me. I honestly I like the direction they were going, but I just wish there was more time to like give more depth to all the actions and things happening. Like I felt like it was way too quick. The Game of Thrones season. Um, but hopefully for House of Dragons, they stick to the books, and if they take liberties, hopefully they're well thought out. And but so far that first episode was pretty rocking. So hopefully, I think they got a banger on their hands.
oh, 100%. This
mhm.
is why I love HBO Max shows, man. They're usually on point with their stories, and they've been like that for decades. So I usually tend to look forward to HBO Max shows, even though they're canceling a lot of shit right now, but it is what it is. But yeah, so that is our review for Game of Thrones House of the Dragon. Disco and I are excited. I don't know what Dan's opinion is on it, but maybe we'll get it next episode. We'll do a quick convo, see what he thought. With his track record, I'm sure he hated it, but you know what I'm saying. But
I don't
that's
know.
Dan.
It was a lot of dialogue, and he does like dialogue, so
Yeah,
maybe
but so was the first season, and he hated
that
that.
that
Yeah,
is true. That is
yeah.
true. All
The
right.
first season was a lot of dialogue. So,
Oh,
uh,
when do you see your first taste of nudity? Because isn't that what threw him off? Like, why am I looking at the penis?
I think
Totally
he got annoyed with the nudity for nudity's sake, but here I didn't see nudity for nudity's sake. Like there was the one scene where Daemon was, fucking the hooker, but we didn't really see much there. And then the other nudity was the mother when they were cutting her open.
Mm,
And then we
yeah.
didn't see much there either. We only saw the stomach and all the blood. So I mean,
Yeah,
they
yeah.
had her covered up pretty well. But yeah, the only nudity was the whorehouse scene, and that was pretty quick. So
It was pretty tame. Yeah, it really wasn't.
yeah,
It wasn't just senseless sex like in
yeah,
this just in the corner for no reason, or just
yeah.
thrown in
Mhm,
between main
mhm.
characters just like out of nowhere. The
It's
sex
just
was
like the camera's panning, and you just see tits for no reason. It's like okay, yeah.
sex
That was the
sells.
reason that he did not. It was just a lot of nudity.
I'm sure he's had a lot of reasons. I don't remember them all. Just like I don't remember anything because I got the Alzheimer's, baby. Um, but yeah, I know you gotta go, Disco. So that wraps up our conversation for House of the Dragon, and then we're gonna get into our new segment now. But if you want to
Yeah.
sign off,
Yeah, I'm gonna
go ahead.
step out, everyone. It was my pleasure giving you my opinion on the show.
All right, thanks, man.
I'm
Take your
out.
discount.
All right, my man Henry and I are going to do some DC comic news because they've
Ooh.
been releasing a lot. So, but before that, don't forget to like, subscribe, share, rate, and review. Give us your comments below on what you guys thought of the Game of Thrones House of the Dragon season 1. Give us some of your predictions and let us know, do you agree with our predictions? Were they good? Were they off? What do you think? But nobody who reads the book spoil it for us, please. We don't want to see that in the comments. And go check out the Los Wise Guys website, and go follow us on our social medias real quick while you're at it. And then now let's get into some news. Um, all right, my man
So, what's
Henry.
new?
Boy, oh boy, Henry. Boy, oh boy. As you can see in front of you there, that is Matt Reeves, and that is my man, um,
Robert?
Robert Pattinson, the Batman. Now, we have some news. Last time I spoke about them, we weren't sure if they were going to move forward with the Batman or not, right? They hadn't officially confirmed it. They haven't officially given the green light. But thanks to IGN, we have some good news, everybody. Warner Brothers is going all in on the Batman director Matt Reeves and his Six and Idaho production company. He has become the first maker given an overall first look film deal since Warner Brothers Group co-chair CEO Michael DeLuca and Pamela Abdi were hired by Warner Brothers Discovery chief David Zaslav to steer the film division. So, in their first move was to make a first look deal with director Matt Reeves, which is the same deal that I'm pretty sure this is the same deal that Zack Snyder has with Netflix right now. That's why I don't think he can make any movies with anybody else right now. Like Netflix has him, like they want his movies. I don't know how many movie deal they have, but he's gonna be there for a little bit. So that's why the Snyderverse is up in the air. But they seem to be continuing it, and I will show you why in a little bit. But thank you so much for making this decision because it is the best decision you could have made. Matt Reeves, the Batman, was fucking phenomenal.
Amazing.
I don't know if you're as excited as me, Henry, but I can't wait for a goddamn sequel. Like they
Yeah,
need to start working on that ASAP.
for sure. For sure. I love that
Um,
movie. It was so good.
But unfortunately, we have some sad news. And according to the Cultured Nerd, which is a Instagram page that I follow, and it is one of the best Instagram pages to follow if you want some DC news. So, unfortunately, the Batman Cape Crusader, which was an animated series created by, um, I forgot his name, but it was Tim something, the creator of uh, the Batman animated series back in the 90s. He had came back with his partner, and they were going to create a new series called the Batman the Cave Crusader in the style of the Batman animated series. Um, and it looked and sounded amazing. And unfortunately, it has been canceled by HBO Max. The animated series was originally set to debut on HBO Max, but apparently it was not in the cards to move forward following the merger. This is according to the Culture Nerd. Again, awesome coverage of the DC stuff, so go check them out on Instagram. But word is that it's still in production at Warner Brothers Animation. It just doesn't have a home yet. So still another branch. So until another branch picks it up, maybe Cartoon Network, the show is in limbo. So these are all the words of the Culture Nerd. So there is hope. Maybe another um, production company or someone can license it and show it on their shit. Maybe Netflix will license it and show it on Netflix. You know what I mean? But
Hmm.
As of right now, it has no home on HBO Max, and which the app will, who knows what it'll become when it merges with Discovery Plus. But this is sad, but with the news of the Batman continuing, I'm okay with this. I would rather have the Batman than this animated series. Um, to be honest with you, I don't know if you agree with me, Henry, but
No, I agree. Because this series for me will be more nostalgic.
yeah.
Where the other ones, like, yeah, let's make franchise, move it forward.
Oh, Bruce Tim, I think is the name of the. No, maybe not. All right, let me not fuck it up, but whatever. Let's continue. More news from the culture nerd. Apparently, Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom has been delayed to December 25th, 2023. So this was supposed to come out early. Actually, I think it was originally scheduled to come out later this year. Then they moved it back to the first quarter of the new year, and now they literally moved it to Christmas, December 2023. And I think the reason they're doing that because they are doing reshoots right now with um, Ben Affleck coming back as Batman, and that has been confirmed by Jason Momoa. So it really looks like this new management wants to kind of continue the DCU, the Snyderverse, and they're trying to figure a way to do that with the movies that were planned to kind of kill the DC, the Snyderverse, and start anew with Batgirl, Supergirl, and other heroes. But those projects got scrapped, right? So it seems like they are trying their best to kind of bring back the Snyderverse, and the same thing happened with Shazam Fury of the Gods, has been moved to the previous Aquaman release date of March 17th, 2023. So this movie we're still going to get at the beginning because this movie doesn't have a lot of ties into the DCEU. Um, they made little cameos of Superman in the first one, but it was nothing too solid, right? It's in the same Earth, whatever, but it's
Right.
not really. It wasn't really a big part of the Snyderverse, so they can still release their movie and add an end credit scene to tie it into whatever they want to do, right? Because it's its own standalone story.
Yeah.
Which why these movies are better when you're building this universe instead of tying every single one together, right? You have it do its
Right.
own thing, and then you kind of tie it, and that was the formula for Marvel, which worked, but you know, they just got bad with their formula. So, but we have some news from IGN.com for Horizon Zero Dawn. So the Umbrella Academy creator is going to adapt the Horizon Zero Dawn TV show for Netflix. So uh, look forward to that. Um, the Umbrella Academy was a good adaptation. It's a fun show to watch. It's been pretty good. It's been consistently pretty good. The actors were awesome. The story's been really cool. Interesting universe they're making. Uh, and so the creator is going to be adapting Horizon Zero Dawn for a TV show. And honestly, I think Horizon Zero Dawn's story is really good for a TV show because you can do the flashbacks to see how the world ended. You can kind of show how the system, spoiler alert, how the game system in the game, like how they build the system to kind of give Earth birth again. And I think the computer said it had to try a couple of times to get it right. And it would be interesting to kind of see how that happens. So they have a lot to work with, and I'm not sure. I didn't play the second game yet, so I don't know how the story continues from there. I'm sure they added even more story to the lore, but the world building is going to be interesting. It's going to be interesting to see how they do all the robots and that interaction and stuff like that. But what do you think, Henry?
I'd rather have a prequel. You know how spoiler, the last remnants of humanity fighting for survival till the end,
Yeah.
and then go to the game. I'd rather have that than that. Because if I wanted to know the story of Horizon Zero Dawn, I'd rather just either play the game or watch videos of the story. Where we didn't get how
Yeah, I
much.
guess. But
You know,
but that prequel can I think it will happen. I just don't think it's gonna be the only part of the show, right? I think they're gonna do a prequel within the show to show you like bits and pieces, and then
yeah,
But I agree with you. But for those of for the people that didn't play Horizon Zero Dawn, and Dan would say this, it's like, hey, if you want to know the story, go play the game. He's said
right.
this many times with The Last of Us, which is being adapted into a TV series by HBO Max. So I know he would say the same thing about this. So and you're right too. The story is better in the game, but I think it's very well adaptable to a TV show. Like, and they can be
Yeah,
like, oh, this is gonna be a game. This was a game, and people are gonna be like, oh my god, really? Like, it's interesting how g- first it was movies that was making the real cool like storylines and stuff like that, and then that
yeah,
shifted into TV shows for a little while, and now it's shifted into video games.
yeah.
Like we're getting like the most original stories from video games. Like Last of Us story
Mhm.
was phenomenal,
Right.
and it's a video game, right? And
Mhm.
I feel like there's video games are taking more risks telling stories
Right.
because that's what the medium lets you do, right? It's not bogged
Mhm.
down yet by the corporate machine.
Right.
So you can do a little bit more with video games. But
Not only
yeah,
that, like
so
you get to interact. That makes it even
yes,
better.
it does. It makes the experience a lot better. Like
Hmm.
for Last of Us, I was fucking emotional in Last of Us Part 2, man. At the end when Ellie and fuck, I forgot her name.
I
The
want to say
big
Amber,
chick.
but I feel like that's not
No,
it.
it's not Amber. Abby.
Especially
You
with
were close.
Abby, yeah.
So when Ellie and Abby were fighting that last fight, my God, that was heart wrenching. And a game did that, right? Not a lot of
Hmm.
movies and TV shows can do that to me, but because I was
Hmm.
playing these characters and experiencing their stories through the gameplay, I was able to connect with them more. So
And you
I
play
highly
it the way you
recommend.
want to, like either
Yeah,
guns blazing or hiding.
yeah, pretty much. You build up a style of play that makes your character a little different, So
Hmm.
I was speaking. We were just speaking about the Umbrella Academy, and the Umbrella Academy has been renewed for a fourth and final season, um, which is good. The way season three ended off was pretty interesting, and I can't wait to see how the new universe that they created, new timeline that they created, is gonna look like. They have remnants of both teams, and now there's two Bens right at the end. So I can't wait. I don't know if you've seen the Umbrella Academy. I could have just spoiled it for you, but
I've seen it a little bit, but like people keep telling me different things. Like, all right.
so what have you been hearing? Is it like good or is it not good?
It's good. It's like you said, it's consistently good. Like
Yeah,
it's pretty well on track.
it's not amazing, but it's
Not
consistently good.
amazing.
Yeah,
It's a good watch.
it is a good watch. Um, yeah, so that is all my news for today, man. Um, so let's do some final thoughts, I guess.
Sure.
You want to go first?
You go first. You go first.
All right. Final thoughts. Game of Thrones, House of the Dragon. Uh, I'm very excited for the rest of this season. I can't wait to watch it, and I can't wait for Lord of the Rings, The Rings of Power. I think that's gonna be really good too. A lot of great content is coming out, so these next couple of months are gonna be fun. And yeah, my favorite part about this whole episode is the Batman is safe. Matt Reeves is gonna be able to do his trilogy, and I am super happy about that. Yeah. So, what do you got, Henry?
My final thought was that I can't watch the new Dragons. I watch it today,
Yeah.
and I'm not as busy. And I actually was listening to one of your episodes, Sandman, and that
Yeah.
got me watching. You know, this show is really good.
Did you watch Sandman?
Yeah, I'm on like episode 8.
Wait, you watched our video first and then watched Sandman?
Yeah. And I was like, oh,
Oh,
this is so good.
damn. Okay, I'm
And I
glad
have
we got.
I have to listen to the podcast again to be like, oh yeah, I remember that part.
Well, I'm glad that our podcast convinced you to go watch Sandman. It was a phenomenal show. So,
It also
listen to that.
convinced me to
Go
watch
listen to that
Paper
episode.
as well.
Oh,
'Cause I'm
yeah.
watching that as
Yeah.
well. I'm like, oh man, this is
Hey,
good too.
go watch Paper Girls. So we've been picking really good shows to review. Paper Girls was amazing. The Sandman was also amazing, which they also released a bonus episode, but I think it's our next episode. I'm gonna give you a little spoiler. I think do we're gonna be playing the oldest game, but we're
Oh
also gonna review the bonus
yes.
episode of the the Sandman, which they kind of just snuck there real quick. So we have a bonus 2-part episode that we're gonna review next week, along with playing the oldest game. So
Okay, look
we're
forward
gonna
to
we're gonna give it the LWG
seeing
twist though.
that.
What happened?
I look forward to seeing that.
Yeah. So we're gonna do that little heads up for you guys so you can join us. Get ready for it. It's gonna be a lot of fun. And yeah, so thank you for listening to the Los Wise Guys podcast. If you like what you hear, follow us on social media, like, subscribe, share, rate, and review. Um, please go ahead. Don't forget to subscribe and hit that bell. It really helps us out, help support the show. Go to the Los Wise Guys website. That's where you can get all our content and link into all of our content, right? It'll bring you to YouTube. It'll bring you to your favorite podcast platforms to listen to all our episodes. 300 plus episodes. So, you got everything to choose from. We've covered so many topics. And go check us out on our social media. We love to hear from you. Give us a follow, support us so we can keep on growing. And thank you for listening and have a great week.